Well, good morning. Welcome to A Tale of Three Cabins. Today I thought I'd talk about my quick hitch compatible implements in the Harbor Freight Quick Hitch. So come on and check it out. So I had ordered my tractor. They were filling out the paperwork, and I ordered the tractor, loader, backhoe combination, and I got the box blade and a brush hog. And then he's filling out the paperwork, and he goes, "Well, of course you're going to want the iMatch Quick Hitch." And I go, "What is it?" And he basically explained that it's an attachment that makes it easier for you to put your 3-point attachments on. You just back up to it, load and go, and it's a lifesaver for a lot of people. And just about everybody knows orders one. And I asked him, I said, well, if I have the backhoe on the back and I'm going to take that off and I got to put my 3-point hitch arms on, why wouldn't I just put the attachment I want instead of putting this attachment, the iMatch, on, and then my implement? And he kind of scratched his head for a few seconds. He goes, "Hey, you got a point." So I didn't see a need for it at the time. So a good amount of time has gone by, and I have collected quite a few implements, especially for the 3-point hitch. Now I've got some projects that were coming up where I was going to be using the tiller, box blade, and possibly the rake, and switching off between them quite often. So I thought it'd be a perfect time for me to get this Harbor Freight Quick Hitch. And I just want to go over the experience I had with it. So we'll start with unboxing.
Currently, as I'm making this video, the Harbor Freight Quick Hitch goes for about $110. So if you can find a 25% off coupon, or maybe that elusive 30% off coupon, you can get it down to somewhere in the high 80s. Most of these quick hitches are pretty much constructed the same way. This one weighs just a little over 60 pounds, around 61 pounds. It's not too bad to manage, pick up and move around, and it's not too hard to install. More and more implements are being made for quick hitch compatibility, and I'm going to go over all the implements that I have, and I'm going to show you which ones are quick hitch compatible and there's no problems hooking up to it, which ones are not but still could be modified a little bit so you can still use it, and some of the ones that just definitely aren't going to work. Now, as I said earlier, this is not too bad to manage. Like I said, a little over 60 pounds. And putting it on your 3-point is pretty simple. Alright, so that's a quick example on how to hook this up to your 3-point hitch. So I did do a lot of research prior to buying this, and I knew that with the implements or attachments that I was going to use, that I was going to need a different hook than what comes with the Harbor Freight. Ken from Ken's Bolt-On Hooks sells a hook, one for the iMatch if you have the John Deere version, which comes in green, and one for the Harbor Freight. It's $40, and I'll show you the difference here in a second with the hook. And I also splurged when I was ordering this hook from him, and I bought some pins instead of using the bolts to adjust that top hook. The pins were an additional $12. Here's Ken's hook on the left, and on the right is the one that comes with the Harbor Freight. You'll notice that the right side of the hook, the Harbor Freight one, is a lot fatter. It's got a lot more meat to it, and the Ken's is a little bit slimmer, which makes it easier to get in certain implements that you have to slide that hook into. It's also got a little cutout there just below the mounting holes, which I think comes into play on certain implements, but to me I don't think that made much of a difference. I did have to make a slight adjustment here. The holes that were reamed out for the Ken's bolt-on hook had a little slop in them, so I had to knock out some of that to make sure the pins would make it all the way through, and then I ended up taking my drill and just reaming it out a little better. Now right off the bat, one of my implements that will not work with this quick hitch is my tiller. But if you make modifications, you can make it work. I went to Tractor Supply and I ordered these extended pins, and I went on eBay and ordered some larger bushings, and when you mount the two together, it widens the space you need to get your lower hooks from the quick hitch to work with this. Here even Ken's hook doesn't fit unless I loosen up that bushing and just make a little modification to the top of the tiller. So I didn't have to change any parts or bushings. All I had to do was loosen that bolt up, and there's enough play in there to push it back. So you can kind of see it's not centered, but it gives me the necessary room for that hook to fit. I think I'm ready for a trial run here to see if this is going to attach to my tiller now. Didn't go too bad. One thing that I'm going to need to do is find a method to strap the drive shaft for the PTO so it doesn't dig into the dirt. This one, the chain in the front broke off, and I have a chain in the back for the safety case. Now just a little heads up about the pin. It is going to bend a little bit since we extended it compared to the old one, but it's not going to hamper anything. So this would be the method to get your old tiller, if it's not quick hitch compatible, to use it with a quick hitch system. Next up is my landscape rake, and I could see using this back and forth with my tiller or my box blade to be smoothing out areas in my yard or where I'm working or tilling. And I'm really hoping this is going to work, but the way it's looking right now, and I measured it and I thought, man, I think it might work, and now when I'm holding it up here, I really come close, but I don't think it's going to make it. This side looks tight, and it looks like it would drop in there, and even with the flange and the pin, it looks like it would still fit in there. But on the other side, if you look, I would need to shave off about 1/4 inch of either the quick hitch or about 1/4 inch of my rake. And that's just not going to happen. So there's no modifications I can make for that to work. Now I got my rotary cutter or my brush hog, and this is quick hitch compatible, so I'm not expecting any issues with it. And I think either hook, the one that came with Harbor Freight or the one from Ken's, would work. I do want to mention, if you do get one of these, no matter what the brand is, there's one thing that you really need to watch out for, and that's that the more level your implement is and the more level that your tractor is, the easier it is to hook up this attachment. My rotary cutter here is on a little bit of an angle. It fell off of a 4x4 that was holding it up, and I didn't want to spend time to go get the forks and try to level this thing out. So you can see that, and even if your implement is level, if you're backing your tractor up and your tractor's not level, it's not going to go on there that easy. And also in this instance, my top link needed to be pushed out further once I did get the bottom hooks to line up. I'm kind of coming down an incline now too, so once I do get this off, I've got to readjust that top link so I can get some lift out of my hitch to lift the back end of my rotary cutter. So I knew when I put this away for the fall that this probably was not the best spot for it, so I'm going to rearrange things in my little overhang for my implements and see if I can have a better way that I can get this rotary tiller in and out. Okay, so next up I got my carryall, and if you remember a little over a year ago I put a wood frame around it so I could use it as a nice cart and use it for hauling wood, tools. I got some modifications on there that I could hold my axe and a rake and a shovel here and there, add chains to it, bungee cords. And before I bought the Harbor Freight, I did take a tape measure to all my implements, and this was one of the ones that looked like it was going to be fine with the Quick Hitch compatibility. Well, if I would have left it as is without building a frame onto it, it would have worked just fine. But now the wood that I added on there seems to stop the bottom hooks from grabbing the pins. I'm a little bummed about it because I could see using this attachment with some of the other ones and bounce them back and forth, especially doing a lot of work in the woods or cutting down a tree. Looks like all we need is about a 1/4 inch. I think we can deal with that. I probably could have got really crazy with this, took the pins off and maybe use a circular saw or maybe a router, make it look a little bit neater, but this was quicker. I think it's going to do the job, and I didn't really want to take that much time with it. Alright, so far I only have one attachment that is not going to work, and that's still my landscape rake. Earlier in the video I showed you my old tiller, and I had to return it because I had a warranty problem, and that's in some earlier videos if you want to go back and watch those. And this is my new tiller. It is 3-point hitch compatible, and that hook that came with Harbor Freight would work. Same with my rotary cutter here, and same with my box blade. Not so much on the carryall.
Okay, so I got 5 out of the 6 of my implements. The one thing I didn't really show was the subsoiler, and that'll fit on the quick hitch. There's no easy way to mount that though, so you pretty much have to manhandle it on. And then real quick, I got a lot of comments from people that want to see my little setup back here, how I keep my implements stored. And then somebody even mentioned, how did I build this little overhang? I wanted something so I could keep my implements out of the weather, but still get good access to them. So the way I have this set up is on the sides, if I can get with my 3-point hitch. And right here, I got the forks here right now, but I'm probably going to move those. But I get the 3-point hitch, and I can grab my carryall, or I can grab my brush cutter. And then in the front,
I'm using scaffolding that normally costs about 150 bucks at your Tractor Supply or even Harbor Freight, just as shelving.
I get the 3-point hitch down in here, and I can grab the box blade, I can grab the tiller, drive away. Up above, I got my snowplow. I can get that with the quick connect on the front end, and same with my brush crusher. In the middle, I got my post hole digger, and those have legs on them, so it's not too bad to install. It kind of balances on those legs, and I just have to get it onto the top link.
And connect the bottom two to the two bottom arms.
And if you look a few videos back, that's when I drilled the post holes to put this overhang on here. I didn't want to get too crazy. I didn't want to do shingles. I didn't want to try to match up the shingles. I just wanted something quick and easy. So if you come in here, I just attached my roof joist with some joist hangers. Put a board across here to nail into as a nailer. And then real easy, simple metal roof. I try to keep the height as high as I could. I got it tucked underneath my roof here, the existing roof. That's really about it. So those who wanted to see it, there it is. If you got any other questions, let me know. Okay, I hope this little video was informative about the Harbor Freight Quick Hitch, some of my successes, some of my minor failures. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you like these videos and subscribe. Hit that like button. It does help. And keep an eye on us. Take care.